What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I'm finally back with another video for you guys. Today I want to talk about the newest acquisition of the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been active. Ryan Poles made something happen, and that was trading for N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry is now officially a Chicago Bear, and the Patriots will receive a 2024 7th round pick for N'Keal Harry. Harry's entering his final year of his 4-year, $10.98 million rookie deal and is up to a $1.872 million cap hit for the 2022 season, so not a lot of money. So first of all, I want to talk about the trade in general. I think it's a move that was kind of necessary. We still have not a very deep wide receiver room. We may still have Darnell Mooney, who is a 1,000-yard receiver and definitely up for the challenge of being the number one wide receiver in the upcoming season. I think he's insanely good. But after him, that is kind of a drop-off. And I mean, we can say we have Byron Pringle, who is a good blocker, fast, good hands, and a solid player, but not a true number two, or he has not been that yet in his career, but he can definitely take that step. But I mean, after those two guys who are really solid and kind of good, there's a big drop off. I mean, we have Equanimous St. Brown, Daz Newsome, David Moore, who was in some trouble lately. Then you have Tajay Sharp, Dante Pettis, some solid players, but nothing too outstanding, especially if you have a second-year quarterback that is entering a very important stage of his career where he really needs to show development. So it was important for the Bears to bring in someone at least, and with N'Keal Harry, I think the Bears made a pretty good move, especially for a 7th-round pick in 2024. That's not big value for a former first-round pick. And I mean, N'Keal Harry in general is a player that isn't making a lot of money next season, so the risk is very low, and it's basically a 1-year deal for him. So I think the trade value is very good and a good decision by Ryan Poles in the first place. So the question now is, how can N'Keal Harry fit to the Chicago Bears and how can he help them? And to get a bit deeper into that, I first off want to talk about his career. N'Keal Harry, 6'4", 225 pounds, so a very big wide receiver, very physical. That started off his career very slow, only 5 games started in 2019. Only 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the next season, 2020, he had his best season of them all with 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 57 targets, 33 receptions, 9 games started, and appeared in 14 games. That was his best season of his entire career. And last year in 2021, and New England's receiving core was never great, so he had the chance to shine, actually. He only had 12 receptions, 184 yards, and 0 touchdowns. That puts him in a career total of 598 yards and 4 touchdowns with 57 receptions within 3 years. There has been some Patriots fans that say that the offensive coordinator of the Patriots did not put him into a great situation and used him kind of wrong. And at some points, I agree with that. But at the same time, N'Keal Harry just never showed the development and the promising things that he showed in college. But what we have to say is that N'Keal Harry is first and foremost a player that brings a lot of physicality, something that the Bears receiver room is definitely lacking of. You have Equanimous St. Brown, who is, I think, even 6'5", so a very huge receiver, but I mean, he's not that physical. N'Keal Harry, on the other hand, is very physical, and that also shows with his run blocking. I mean, he's one of the highest graded run blocking right receivers from last season and had a PFF grade from 89.5, which is actually pretty good. So that's a great aspect of him that is very beneficial for the Bears in the upcoming season. Also, I think he is not slow in any kind of way. I mean, if you talk about big physical receivers, we mostly think of them, especially if they're not superstars, of being slower. But he ran a 4.53 40-yard dash and had a 38.5 vertical jump, so he's not a unathletic or a bigger built wide receiver that just can't move. Like, he's not bad. The only thing that you can definitely say about his athleticism is maybe his acceleration is not that good. But N'Keal Harry is a player that definitely is or was a disappointment and a bust, so-called, for the Patriots. But now with the Bears, he gets a new chance. He gets a new start, a new shot at starting somewhere potentially, and also just a change of scenery sometimes unlocks the true potential of some players. That's just how it is. So now the big question is, how does he actually fit the Bears offense? With Luke Getsy now being here, we run a outside zone scheme, kind of Kyle Shanahan-ish. And I mean, N'Keal Harry is first and foremost, like I've already mentioned, a great blocker. And I think with the limited weapons that we have at receiver and tight end for Justin Fields, and also not having the best offensive line and not that much time to throw, I think a lot will go through David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, our two very good running backs. So N'Keal Harry's blocking abilities obviously already great to have, because he can block well, he can hold his blocks, he can drive people down the field. That obviously helps a lot with outside runs, which probably will be a part, or a more crucial part, in 2022 than it has been before with Matt Nagy and in that era. So that's already a great point. As a receiver, I think N'Keal Harry still is very talented. Like I said, he has that speed-size combination. He's not the best route runner, so don't expect him to run crisp routes like Darnell Mooney and juice up some defensive backs. No, he won't do that. But what he can definitely do is use his frame. He has good body control and positioning, and puts himself in good positions to make the grab and utilize his length. And yeah, he definitely excels at contested catch situations. You saw that with the Patriots time after time, and several times that he could just go up and get it. That Allen Robinson kind of player, and that's also who he was compared to when he was coming out of college. In the NFL draft combine profile, he was compared to Allen Robinson. So he's obviously not that replacement. He doesn't have the same skill set, the same hands. He had some drop issues, but he definitely has that contested catch ability. He can use his speed and frame to go downfield and be a deep threat or contested catch threat for Justin Fields. That's something he lacks as well. Darnell Mooney can go up and get it at times, but I mean, having a guy like N'Keal Harry on the Bears who can do that from time to time is definitely very helpful. And I mean, let's just hope for the best that N'Keal Harry will have a breakout season with the Bears, and that would probably be going for 600 yards, 700 yards as wide receiver 2 or 3. That would be perfect. You got him on a cheap deal for 1 year. He maybe performs really well, so gets a contract extension. And now you have a player that's only 24 still, so very young, still has a chance to develop, and is just a deep threat, big body target for Justin Fields, something we probably did not expect that we would have before this season. So now we at least got a player that has the chance to be that type of guy for the Bears offense in 2022. So in conclusion, to finish this up, I think N'Keal Harry is a solid trade, low risk, high reward potential here. Ryan Poles just pulled the trigger. He was available, only spent a 7th round pick on a player that still has potential. I mean, it's something that's not a lie. Like, it is true that N'Keal Harry still has potential. Let's just see how Ty Tolbert, our excellent receiver coach, can work with him and coach him up maybe. So I think it's a great decision by Poles, just bringing in a young, talented player that still has some upside for Justin Fields, just giving the receiver room some more options and camp bodies to work with. He's on a cheap deal. He will be a free agent next season, so you won't have that contract on your roster next year. I mean, if he performs well, extend him, no question. But I think I'm excited for the signing. It's nothing too fancy, but it's a good signing, a good trade that can definitely help the offense in many kinds of ways. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good trade. So with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will be back soon, probably around July 20th. I will be back making videos for you guys, especially in preparation for training camp. I will definitely get a lot of videos out for that as well. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Check out Instagram if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.